What is going on, you guys? My name is Curtis with this Seoul Dojo gaming channel, and this is our first impressions of Monster Energy Supercross 25. Yes, you may be watching this and saying, Curtis, what game is this? What is this? I know some people haven't heard of this series or just keep passing it on. This is Monster Energy Supercross. This is a very fun series. I reviewed Monster Energy Supercross 5 a couple years back. It was like 3 or 4 years back, and I really was very impressed with this game. When I was younger, I used to play all the MX versus ATV games. Those games were so fun. Now this is a more simulation type style. I think those games are a lot more arcadish, but this is a very more realistic simulation style. This one, Supercross 25, I'm on the fence a bit with it. It's okay. I have some things I like about it. I definitely have some things I dislike about it. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. All right, for starters, this series has never wowed me with its presentation at all. Some of the presentation in this game is just downright ugly. It just looks outdated. It looks like it belongs on like PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Around the track, it's more of the outside track presentation. Some of the NPCs just stand still. They don't move. They don't wave a flag or anything like that. The crowd interaction is not as good as it probably should be, especially for like a current gen game. However, the on-track presentation is pretty good. Riders look great. There's a new rut system that kind of makes the track tell the story, which I will talk about a little bit later. So the track kind of changes as riders, from lap to lap, as riders go through the race and things like that. Milestone, who are the developers, they were able to get all the tracks before the season has even reached that, before the real racers have even raced on that track. They were able to get all the tracks into the game and basically have a like-for-like replica of those tracks in the game, and they look really good. The one that I've raced on the most is the Anaheim one. It looks beautiful. It's within the Anaheim, the Angels Stadium. It's beautiful and it looks great. So the on-track stuff looks great. The off-track stuff just needs loads of work to just give that added immersion. Gameplay is where this game in this series shines the most. It's more about the sticks and weight distribution on your bikes. I talked about it a lot on my Supercross 5 review, so basically I'll just read that out for you guys. The core gameplay of Monster Energy Supercross 5, because that's what I was reviewing at the time, is about controlling yourself through different obstacles on the track. Nailing jump patterns, drifting corners, and mastering bends will all contribute to your success. Now this is easier said than done. This is where the gameplay kind of is very difficult in a lot of ways, especially if you don't watch the sport or you're just not into these kind of games, because like I said, this is very more simulation based than like an MX versus ATV type game. This year Milestone has definitely improved the racing experience. They've added new animations, camera movements, and more importantly, like, they added air and ground physics. You can definitely tell with this new game there's a lot more that goes into just the systems and everything, especially when you're riding through the tracks, and it works really well with the rut system, which I'll talk about here in a second. It definitely works really well. So overall the gameplay stays the same, but there is some updates here and there, especially with animations and stuff like that, that makes it one of the smoothest and most realistic that the game has really ever been. So when it comes to the new rut system, this system is basically collecting a bunch of data as you're going around just lap to lap as the race like continues and things like that. So the track will change. So basically the track tells the story, which is really interesting, and I'm really surprised this kind of feature is just now making it into the game. But as you're kind of racing around the track will evolve and change, and you have to kind of change your strategy in a lot of ways as you're going around the track. Like there's been multiple times, like I'm on lap 4 and I'm like going around and I have to kind of change my strategy on a certain turn, or I have to wiggle my way out of dirt. It's very interesting, and sometimes when you're in racing games like this, sometimes you can just let your mind wander and just kind of go through the motions, but this system ensures that you are very much staying on your toes, and that's what I really like about it. So the new rut system really adds another layer of challenge to the game and the gameplay, like the overall gameplay, which is great. Now this is one of my biggest gripes about this game now, is because the Supercross Academy is very watered down this year, and I'm like, okay, if you're gonna have this new rut system, if you're gonna make the game a little bit more challenging in different areas, you really should have a deep more in-depth Supercross Academy. Now in Supercross 5 they had Ricky Carmichael narrate, you know, a lot of like these series of tutorials for you to learn the game, and I really got good at the game doing those tutorials. This one is a more watered down tutorial. Monster Energy Supercross 25's Supercross Academy, just to me, is just not good enough. I feel like for newcomers it's going to be very hard for you to get into the game because the gameplay is a bit challenging. There's a tad bit of a learning curve. Sure, you can kind of do what I did and make the difficulty very easy, but it's still a difficult game, and you still have to learn those maneuvers and those techniques that will help you succeed in the game. And I feel like the Supercross Academy just doesn't achieve that this year. So when it comes to modes, Monster Energy Supercross 25 returns with, you know, championship, rhythm attack, single event. There's a split screen mode, which is great, but there is one mode that I'm actually very upset that has missed the cut, and it's the compound. The compound is the game's open world sandbox, so you can kind of just ride around with your friends and do tricks and be kind of silly. It's a big break from the racing competitions in career mode and things like that. I really liked it. For some reason it is not in this game, and from what I'm seeing, even when I was looking at my review guide for this game, it's not in the initial game, and it's not even part of the post-launch content. So that is a huge miss for me, and it really damages kind of how I look at this game in particular, because I love the compound. It's really fun. It reminds me of those MX versus ATV days. It's just silly fun, and it sucks that it's not in the game. Now, one mode that did get a lot of updates, and I'm very excited about it, is career mode. Career mode now in Monster Energy Supercross 25 is more about relationships and rivalries. You can interact with riders through the social media network that they have. It will kind of spark friction if you're kind of boasting about a win and things like that. Also, it's more about like team synergy. If you're winning and you build that chemistry with your team, you know, you unlock better upgrades and bikes. You know, those will become more available. It's very similar, and I said this in my review, it's very similar to the EA Sports F124's driver recognition system, which is very, very cool. Very cool. As you go through the game, as you progress, you're able to get more bikes. As you build relationships, more things are unlocked. It's a lot of things to unlock and progress through this game, and it actually has different story arcs. It very much reminds me, or it very much is leaning towards a well in-depth Supercross RPG like experience, and that's what I really like about the career mode this year. They did a lot of good stuff with it, and it's one of the bright spots of the game. Overall, I think Monster Energy Supercross 25 does an amazing job with the gameplay in the career mode. Unfortunately, there are some things that I just don't like about this game, and I really worry for the game when it comes to newcomers coming in. Of course, a lot of you guys might not have heard of this game. Some people might hear it now and just want to buy it and try it. I feel like it's going to be very hard for newcomers to come into this game because of the Supercross Academy. They're going to play this game and they're not going to like it because it's a little bit difficult, and they're not really going to understand the ins and outs. I know we have YouTube and stuff to learn how to, you know, kind of handle things like that, but the game, it's just not as fully fleshed out as it should be in this series or in this iteration, and I feel like previous iterations were a lot better with integrating new players and things like that. Returning players are going to get a lot out of this, especially with the rut system in the career mode updates. Now, Monster Energy Supercross 25, should you buy it, should you get it on a sale, or skip it? It's very hard for me because you guys already know what I say about sports games. If you buy this game every year, if this is one of your sports titles that you get every single year, yes, it's your game. You need to go ahead and buy it. If you're new and you want to try something new, get it on a very good sale. And I say very good. I wouldn't say skip it. I'm close to saying skip it because there is better games in the series that are better than this, but wait for a really good sale. I'm talking like $20. Like, wait for a really good sale for this. It is a good series. I like the series, but returning players are gonna get a lot more out of it than new incoming players, and I feel like developers have to look at that. They have to look at newcomers and integrate them into the game, and especially when it comes to a game that's very focused on gameplay and simulation and realism. This game needs to have a better Supercross Academy. And where is the compound at? And why isn't the presentation any better? But those are just my gripes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. My name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel. You can follow me on X at Kelly from the Dojo. And man, keep subscribing to the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel because we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you again. You guys are great. All right. Peace.